It's just the promises of eternal hell, like it's so constant and it happens a lot in the Quran. It just
the punishment of the grave. I know many. Look, we talk to ex-Muslims all the time, and that's one of the main things. Believe it or not, like a lot of people may not know this, but that's one of the main things that ex-Muslims deal with. They're traumatized by the punishment of the grave. Like it's a real thing that emotionally scars people, and Jesus can heal you from that, and He does. But there's a big struggle for a lot of ex-Muslims. This torment of the grave, the torture of the grave. Like whenever you go past a graveyard, you're like scared, and it has a huge. We understand it has a huge emotional effect, and it's not like we're not trying to minimalize it at all. You know, it's a real thing, but there can be healing for that too, right? There can be healing for that too.
Yeah, it's a book that keeps threatening you, like I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to throw you in hell every 2 seconds. Even as a believer, I used to get annoyed at this. Like, okay, you said you're going to throw them in hell 10 times. Can you tell me something? I'm a believer. I need help now.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, DOC. I actually made a joke to my friend. She's a Christian, and I told her, I dare you, like I'm going to open a random page in the Quran, and you'll look at it, and you're going to hell in that verse, or like in that page. And yeah, it is true. You can open any chapter you want, any page you want, and someone is promised hell.
Yeah, it's fear. It's fear. But what God says in the Bible is, we haven't given you we were not given a spirit of fear, but of love,
sound mind,
power, love, and sound mind. Yeah. So that's not God, really. The one who rules with fear is Satan.
J233, how you doing?
Oh, I thought that. Hi,
James.
I thought the name. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I had to make sure. I had to just make sure.
Yeah, I just used my other email. Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Good. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, David. Hi. Jay and Vicky.
Hey, Jane. Nice.
We came just for you.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Yep, I drug him all the way here.
Thank you so much. So I just want to start by asking a question.
Okay.
How dare you not have Ibn Kathir tafsir?
Oh, yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
It blew my mind when I heard that. It was really funny.
I should have had it in my back pocket. What was I thinking?
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know what to start with. I have a lot of questions. I do. And let's start just by the first thing. I would love to know what you guys think of the Sabbath in the Quran. I don't know if that makes sense. It's in Surah Al, and it specifically mentions the Sabbath. And I was thinking to myself, or like my own understanding of that was that God is telling them to, not my own understanding, actually, this is what the verse says. Let me just pull that up for a second.
What verse is it?
Basically, Allah, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm just going to try to pull it up. It's the only thing I don't have in hand.
Yeah, see, how dare you? You see?
What does Ibn Kathir say about this?
It might be 265.
Yeah, 265. Is it that one? That
265.
Yeah, that's.
Can you? I'm sorry. Can you say it out loud?
الذين اعتدوا this one.
I think it is. Yeah, this one.
65. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, am I mistaken, or actually? So this is like I don't know, because I looked up the tafsir and stuff like that, but it didn't explain it. Why would God or like Allah in the Quran bring up a verse that is specifically about a Sabbath that God declines in the Quran? So basically, the Sabbath was the day that God rested, and God doesn't rest in Quran or like in Islam. He never took a day to rest. He finished the entire earth or like the entire world in 6 days, and he didn't rest. Am I correct or am I wrong? That's what I want to know.
Correct. He says in another verse that we never rested.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know Arabic?
I do. Yeah, I speak Arabic. I just refrain from doing that because I don't want my dialect to be known.
Oh, sure. Okay, that's fine. So he says that in Surah Qaf, Surah 50, verse 38. He said 50 verse 38. He says so he didn't have a rest day. So the Quran mistakes the rest. He thinks that rest is because of tiredness. So in Surah 50 verse 38, he said we never had no tiredness. So he didn't have a rest. So you're right. So that is, that's smart. So you see the issue here.
Yeah, good contradiction. Yeah.
This is gonna sound weird because you guys are like Christians, but is it actually a problem? Because I feel like I'm kind of losing my senses when it comes to spotting contradictions. So is it actually weird that it's like mentioned? Because it's not making sense. Like, why would you mention something like that when you refuse it at the same time?
That's a good question to ask the religion, but I'll tell you what I think. My theory is that Muhammad just heard stuff and he didn't know what it meant. So Sabt in Arabic just means Saturday. So I don't think he realized the implications of it. He just thought, oh, the Jews make a big deal of it, so it must be something in their Torah that Allah gave them to do. And he didn't realize that in somewhere else he went against it. That's what I think. I don't know what the rest of the panel think.
Yeah, I think that it's something that points out how the Quran is one. It doesn't know what it's talking about, and it confirms something that it contradicts at the same time. This is another example. It confirms the Sabbath, but like undermines everything that the Sabbath is in its origin, right? So it contradicts what it confirms at the same time, which is just another part of showing the Islamic dilemma. So yes, it's another problem. This is just another example of that. There's many. There's a lot of them.
Okay. So I have another thing that I don't want to forget about. So you guys were like on your live, like, I don't know, 2 months ago or something, you were talking about a list of prophecies that were fulfilled in Jesus, and you had it on hand. So would that be a reasonable question for, I think that was Jay and DUC. Would that be reasonable for you to send it to me?
Of course. Yeah, we can definitely send it to you.
You still have it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the specific list that we had, but we can definitely get one, and there's a lot of them out there. But yeah, we can definitely send it to you. There are many prophecies, like as we talked about, that are fulfilled in Jesus, and that's a great way to prove that he truly is the Messiah and that the Bible is reliable.
And if you read Matthew, it's the gospel that's excellent. So it talks about these prophecies. If you find notes towards the bottom of your Bible, it says, for example, he was born in Bethlehem, and then it tells you like a footnote saying this comes in a prophecy in another prophecy, and the whole Bible, you can go back to these. So Matthew is a good book to read and cross-check
all the prophecies
that Matthew talked about.
Yeah, I think that's kind of already what I'm doing. I'm reading, like, I started with John, and I wrote down everything that was like just a second, that was related to Jesus' deity, or like the claims of or like Jesus' teachings in it. So I'm doing this book, like, what do I say? Like, how do I say this? I'm taking it one at a time. I started with the Gospels because I already read the entire Bible before, but it was like for my MA, so it didn't count from it. Like, I didn't actually get any information from there. But I think it's just the mental, it's kind of overwhelming to go through these things. So I feel like I just want something to read. I'm done making things on my own, or searching things for my own, which is why I'm like, can you please help me? Because it's really overwhelming for me.
It's with who reads through stuff with you if you're reading something for the first time also. So we've put our email address for you in the private chat. You can email us. You can email me. You can speak to me Arabic or whatever you like. And we can send you what we have, and we can even do a reading
Bible studies
verse by verse and go through prophecies slowly, so you absorb it. It will take some time.
That is extremely helpful. Thank you so much. So another thing that I would like to know your opinion about is the Antichrist. I already talked to Avery about this on his life, and from what I understand, Antichrist is a figure representing ultimate or opposition to Christ and his teachings. Is that correct?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So can I ask you, because I know that you were you grew up a Muslim, is it I feel like I'm kind of affirming my own thoughts, which I gotta stop doing that. Let's just get back to your topic, you guys, because I feel like I'm wasting your time.
No, you're not wasting time. You can ask your question.
It's okay. I feel like it's not. That's the problem. It's not as a question as it's affirming my own thoughts.
So you have a thought about the Antichrist, and you want to get our thoughts on it. Yeah, it's fine.
It's not that. It's just the fact that there is an Antichrist in Islam, and for me that doesn't make sense. I already spoke about that before, which is, why is there an Antichrist? Because an Antichrist is someone that opposes the teachings of Christ. And the only way that we can get the teachings of Christ historically is through the Bible. And it says everything against the Quran, and it just doesn't make sense. So I wanted to know if there was an Islamic explanation for it. Because from what I've got, there is none.
It's kind of interesting because when you look at what Islam says the Antichrist is going to be like, it says he compares it to Allah actually, which is kind of funny because the Antichrist, like you said, it's the anti-Messiah, like the anti-Messiah, but it compares it to Allah. It says, this is not like your Lord, one-eyed like your, So yeah, it's you have, I think I know where you're coming from with that. And it does point, the fact that the Antichrist exists in Islam does, and the descriptions of the Antichrist does point to actually the Messiah being God rather than not being God.
Yeah, it's al Masih al-Dajjal, so it's the Arabic for it is.
I wanted to say that.
Yeah, Masih al-Dajjal.
And they actually don't say it like that. They say it with a kha.
Yeah, Masih al-Dajjal, the lying Messiah. So again, I think Muhammad just heard that from Christians around, or even people of the book around, and then they were talking about that in end times, when judgment comes, and he said, oh, okay, so I have to put that in my religion also, that there will be an antichrist. But he didn't realize that when he said antichrist, there's a context, and there is a Christ then, and all about Christ, and antichrist is not about any other religion. So I think again he kind of told on himself a bit, but it's because of ignorance.
Yeah.
So by the way, the email is in the private chat, so we can send you the list of prophecies and other things. We can set some other things up with you as well.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much, because that's one of the things that I'm looking for. Okay, I just took your email. I'm gonna be emailing you after this live.
Okay, great.
Okay, so to get back to your topic, which is the Islamic dilemma, how can I share my screen if that's okay? Because
you press the present button.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Just be careful though. If this is your first time doing this, you don't want to share anything that you don't want people to see.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's all I think it's all safe, so it's okay.
Okay.
Put your hand on the screen.
No,
in case.
My camera is closed.
Okay.
Yeah. So you push present, and then what tab you want to share, or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I found that. Here it is. Thank you.
Yep.
Is it appearing to you guys?
Let me do it. Okay, it's on the screen now.
So I tried to write my own. Wait, I think I lost it. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, so this is the verses that troubled me. So what I did was I looked up all the verses that I started with the Torah, and I wrote down all the just the arguments about it, and then I would write down if this verse affirms the authority and preservation of the previous scriptures or not. So far, until this one. Wait. I'm sorry, you guys. You guys are kind of lagging. Are you saying anything?
No.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're
here.
So yeah, I think until this one, I think this is where it started getting messy for me. It's I think this kind of explains that it does affirm the Quranic authority over the previous scriptures, and I think it just I would like to get your opinions on this. So just a second, I'll make sure I specify a certain part, because I think it may
Is it verse 48 specifically that you're talking about?
I think it's from 46 to 48.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Just a second.
Yeah, 46 to 48.
I see Tabari tafsir. Is that what you have? The tafsir?
I have I have the older tafsirs, not all the tafsirs. I have and Ibn Kathir.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
I think these are the ones that and Qurtubi, I think, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. And this is the first time I've tried. I don't know why I didn't get it prepared.
Okay.
So I think this sums it up. There's two readings for the verse. Okay, what verse? Yeah. I think it's the one about I am so sorry, this is taking too long. Let the people of the gospel. Yeah, I found it. Let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah revealed in it. Okay, you can read the Arabic one if you want, but I think it's it sums up in this one when an ahkum bainahum. No, that's not the one. It's a slightly different reading for it, and one of them. So the purpose reading shows the reason for revelation, and the command reading shows the continued expectation or responsibility. So that's what I came down to. So basically, one of them would completely, the command reading, which is I think the Jezn reading, would basically say yes, it still confirms it basically tells the Christians to still judge by their books, and the purpose reading kind of shows the opposite. So I don't want to hang all my thoughts about this on what it could be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say so just in case anyone isn't getting this in, and I can say it so you can make sure that I'm understanding you correctly. So you're saying that when the Quran says, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah hath revealed therein, you're saying you can read that as if it's a command. Hey, people of the gospel, you have to judge by your book, in which case it would be affirming the preservation and continuing authority of the gospel. But then there's also the purpose interpretation, which would be this was Allah's purpose in revealing the verse, so it wouldn't necessarily mean that it has continuing authority because it's talking about what Allah's purpose was. Am I understanding that correctly?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so there's actually a variant reading there as well. So there's actually a variant that does change the meaning slightly, but it doesn't really affect the argument.
Yeah, so I would just say context-wise, this purpose interpretation makes no sense if it isn't somehow including the command, and the reason is this is part of a passage, and in 543 sort of sets the tone and the standard where Jews are trying to avoid judging by the Torah, so they go to Muhammad, and Allah says, why are they coming to you when they have the Torah? And then it says, if you don't judge by what Allah hath revealed, you're no better than those who rebel. And so that's the context. And we have the historical background on that in Sunan Abu Dawud, where Muhammad actually tells the Jews, they set him on the judgment cushion. So he's on the judgment cushion. He's going to judge this situation. Muhammad says, bring me the Torah. And it says they bring him the Torah. So we know it's actually talking about a physical copy of the book for all the Sajid Lippam fans who think that the Quran is not affirming texts that were still available. But he says, bring me the Torah. They bring him the Torah. He gets off the judgment cushion. He puts the Torah on the judgment cushion. He says, I believe in you and in the one who revealed you. So it's like multiple ways that he's confirming. He's like, it's like a massive visual demonstration of his perspective. No, I'm not the judge. The Torah is the real judge. I judge by telling you to do what the Torah says. And he says, I believe in you and in the one who revealed you. And so if you want to say, oh, believing in you means I only believe in parts. Well, what do you do with I believe in the one who revealed you? Does that mean he just believe in parts of Allah too? So anyway, you can't really avoid in 543, especially with the historical background, that Allah is saying, Jews, you have to judge by the Torah. You can't deviate from it. If you try to deviate, the Quran is going to send you right back to the Torah. So this is like extreme confirmation that this is a command, You're not getting away from your book. The Quran is not going to allow you to. So that's the context. And that's the context where you eventually get 547, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein. So 543, he's making the Jews judge by the Torah. And then right after that, he says, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah revealed therein. So if it's going in a completely different direction with what the meaning is, that would make no sense. But then even worse, you get the very next verse where Allah says that the Quran confirms the previous scriptures and is a guardian. You see what it means for the Quran to guard the previous scriptures. It guards them from people who are trying to deviate from them. And then Allah says that he gave different communities different laws so that they would remain distinct groups and they would compete with each other in good works. What's that mean? It means he's saying that everyone has to follow the law of their group, which makes perfect sense if he just said that Christians have to follow the gospel and Jews have to follow the Torah. So I would just say, as far as the entire context is concerned, it would make no sense to say that the Quran is not affirming the continuing authority, especially when you get to later in the same chapter and you have verses 66 and 68. So 68 is the one that says, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah hath revealed. Not that, that's 547, 568, where he says, say to the people of the book, you have no ground to stand upon unless you stand fast by the Torah, the gospel, and all the revelation that has come to you. And so they're stuck with the Quran is condemning Jews and Christians, not for having corrupt scriptures, but for not following the scriptures that they have, not obeying the scriptures they have. And that makes no sense unless the Quran still thinks these are authoritative.
I have absolutely seen that theme going on in the Quran, even in the tafsir, which even when they try to say that the Christians or the Jews did something wrong, they describe it as they did not stick to their scriptures. And that confuses me so much, because like you're telling me that the right thing they're going to do is to stick to their own scriptures. But nowhere I can find, like even in this, I was looking this, like all the tafsir for these for 2 verses for so long. I think for like 6 hours today. To find one scholar that says that what they did wrong was that they corrupted the scriptures, or that they didn't have it to even command with it or rule with it. But it doesn't say that, and it keeps affirming, this says it's talking about confirming what came before the Torah, about Jesus, and then it says this emphasizes the gospel. By the way, this is not me writing, this is the tafsir, but I just wrote it here so that I can see it. This emphasizes that the gospel did not oppose the Torah, but rather affirmed its truth. So we should take this and apply it to the Quran. So basically, I'll have to say that this emphasizes that the gospel, the Quran did not oppose the gospel, and it doesn't make sense. And what's I think the question is if I see it this way, why am I still confused about it? Is basically not just misunderstanding or the whole it kind of makes it. I'm sorry, I can't form my words. It's just that I don't want to be in the fault of misunderstanding something that is complicated. To the point where it leads me to eternal damnation just because I didn't make enough effort, or because I thought I was better than God's words, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, you're saying you want to be careful. These are matters of eternal significance, so you're trying to be as careful as possible. Nope, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and
it looks like you're doing exactly what we're doing. So we've been with David and Avery. We've been going through the entire Quran, starting in chapter 1. We're currently in chapter 7. We're about to be on chapter 8. And we've been going through every single verse by verse, noting down every single reference to the Torah, to the Injil, anything related to the Bible at all, right? And we've been looking at the commentaries as well, and kind of similar to what you're doing here. So what you're going to find when you keep doing this is that it's going to keep affirming over and over and over and over and over again these same ideas, and you're not going to find anything that gives any argument against it. So you're not going to find anything that says the Torah is corrupt or the Injil is corrupt or these are not actually from God anymore, or anything like that. You're going to find the opposite, that is continuously being confirmed and appealed to, and that you should believe in these books. The problem is, though, what you're going to find out, and you're reading through Matthew and through John, you're going to find out that actually you read these books and you can't be a Muslim and believe in this and this. You can only believe in one or the other, right? And the thing is, if you believe in the other, the Quran, well, then you can't, because it says to believe in the other. So it's you're in this is what we call the dilemma. So you're kind of stuck between these two. So it sounds like you are being very careful and you're putting in a lot of research, and obviously you're reading the Bible as well, and I'm sure you're praying as well. Sounds like you're heading in the right direction. I mean, you shouldn't be faulted at all. We commend you. We want all Muslims to do this.
Yeah.
We want all Muslims to do this.
You have found exactly what we found. We went through it very carefully. This corruption is not originally Islam at all. This corruption idea comes later in Muslim history, when Muslims actually started reading the Bible and thought, this book is not what Muhammad told us. This book is not what the Quran says. So something must have changed then, because the Quran says, I affirm you. So it's you're being gaslit a bit. It's this book is meant to be the same as ours, similar, and it's not. But they actually come at it from that we believe Muhammad. So the books must have been changed. Whereas what happened was the books have always been the same. Muhammad just never read it. He assumed that they have this similar to him, because Waraq ibn Nawfal had told him when he first thought he became a prophet, that you're the one we've been waiting for. You're in our books. So he believed in it all the time. And he kept saying, come to the Torah, come to the gospel, I'm in it. And he affirmed the books. So he believed in a lie, and then Muslims have been believing in it all the time. And now they cracked open the Bible, they thought now the truth is something else. Now they said, oh, well, it must have been changed than us. You with me?
I actually found that I'm with you. I think if I look at it from a logical point of view or a historical point of view, I'll have to realize that the Quran existing kind of diminish, if that's the right word, the New Testament. It absolutely destroys it, and it still speaks of it. So it can't you can't find any information about the New Testament in the Quran. It doesn't exist. You don't know anything about Jesus. That's why it kind of bothers me when I hear someone says my beloved prophet Jesus, and I'm like, I didn't even know anything about him until I started looking at it historically. Right. You don't find any information about him except that he's gonna rule the world at the end of the time, and it doesn't make sense for me to ignore all historical aspects, but at the same time there's this I don't know, I'm bound to consider that I'm just in the wrong, and at the same time I don't know how to explain it, but I think it's not a theological struggle as much as it's a rooted beliefs ingrained in the nature. You don't think, you can't think. I feel like Muslims are too comfortable with their religion to even consider this at the slightest, which is why in their I don't know. Yeah, it's just I'm trying to pick. I think it's not a theological issue as more as if it's as someone said. I think I was watching a lot for you guys, and someone said, I listen to the Quran and it makes me comfortable, or it makes sense to me that this is from God. And unfortunately, I'm guilty at the same thing. I listen to the Quran and it affects me. It affects me not in a good or a bad way. It just affects me as hey, these cannot be not the words of God. And it controls some of the narrative inside of your head, or some of your judgment. So either you go with your mind, or you go with your I don't know, instinct, or I don't know, heart. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't call it brainwashing, but it's what's familiar.
It's cultish. It's more cultish.
Yeah, it's you grew up with mom, dad, Islam, and it's more it's part of me. It's familiar. When you hear it, you think of home, you think of childhood, you think of all these things, and it pulls on that part of you. But that part is not true. That's where you need the Lord Jesus to come in and break that. It's bondage. It's attachment. It's like being attached to a husband who beats you every day, but that's all you've known. So you don't know how to get out, or something like that, or something that is not true.
Like addiction,
addiction. Someone who loves the bottle, he's familiar with the bottle, or with the
drugs,
or something. He can't wait to get home and drink, or But that doesn't make it true, and you have to break the attachment. But that's where you need God.
Yeah, like you're saying, it's not just a theological thing. This is emotional. It's spiritual, and if you think about it, in terms of addiction, right? Someone who, let's say, they get these struggles to go back to their addictions, or trying to pull away from it. Let's say a certain situation happens and it brings them back to, when I used to deal this problem this way. I used to do drugs or drink alcohol or something like that. But it's comfortable. It's the way to medicate out of the situation. So they have these triggers. And so what you're saying is oh, look, when I hear the Quran, it reminds me maybe when I was a kid and my grandmother used to play the Quran, or used to, whatever. It's you have these memories because you're human, and these are we're humans, and we build connections and emotions to memories, and things remind us of our past, and etc. You have these emotional connections to things. Same thing with people with addictions, though, but doesn't make it right. So someone might, when they go through a hard time, they might all of a sudden turn to alcohol and drink alcohol, and that's the way to comfort themselves. And that might be it gives them a temporary sort of comfort, but that doesn't make it right? It's not healthy. It doesn't make it true. So it's a fix temporarily. It'll get you back to that state where you're kind of in la la land and you feel comfortable or whatever, but it's not actually a true fix. It's not a healthy fix. So
and it's designed that way, Jane. That's why they do the tajweed with the Quran, where they do it in a melody, because it pulls on the emotion. That's why they adhan 5 times a day. It's you hear it all the time. It becomes part of you, and they invade your life with it. Your mom speaks of it, your grandma speaks of it. You say something. You say the name of. You say Bismillah before you eat. You say do this before you do this. You could say this before you go to the toilet. You say this before you leave. When you come back, it's designed that way. so that when you leave it, you feel, well, what's my life about? I need to go back to it. Well, that's indoctrination, and it's, like you say, it's cultish.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Jesus can fill those voids that you have, those emotional, whatever it is that's drawing you back. You like you're going through a difficult time. You hear the Quran reminds you of these good times, these good memories. That can all be healed in Jesus. So there's a solution for what you're going through. The Quran and whatever else you're going with, like it's like someone who's like on drugs or something. They're just going back to something. It's not a healthy way to deal with their problems, but it's a way to deal with their problems. But it's not a healthy way. But there's a true way, and there's a good way, and there's a healthy way, and that's what you're offered in Jesus.
And remember, you can.
I just don't know. I'm sorry. I thought I interrupted someone. I think it comes down to the fact that I don't follow. Like I don't think. I see your point, and I see I think you're actually correct, but at the same time, I think of too many like aspects of this. One of them is a loving God, or a God that stirs up emotions inside of you. Could be more of a it would be me putting a fantasy in life, so I don't follow that. I know that that's a really harsh thing to say, but I feel like I have to follow the truth or the logic before anything else, because if I let my emotions control me, I think it doesn't make any point. It doesn't mean I'm going to the real path. So that's what I've been actually doing. I've been researching the whole thing about I think 8 months now, and I'm just I'm struggling right now. I don't know, I really thought that I was gonna be able to comprehend or form one good sentence. I had a lot of questions as well, but I feel like it's just getting too much day by day, and it's getting to a point where logic doesn't work, faith doesn't work, praying doesn't work, and it just makes it. And I know that this could be a foreign concept to non-Muslims, but it's a very difficult position to try and get out of this. And at the same time, if we don't follow the I don't know, I feel like I lost my train of thoughts.
It's like you have the comfort of what you know. You have the comfort of what you know, and then you're faced with okay, do I follow the truth? And the truth, the cost of the truth, there could be consequences of that. You might lose your family, you might lose what you're familiar with, you might lose your job, you might lose your friends if you follow the truth. And so the question is what are you willing to do? Are you willing to follow the truth no matter the cost, no matter the consequences, right? That's what it comes down to. Now, we're not asking you to do anything right now. We're not saying to leave your home or something, but we're saying that's what it comes down to, right? Because we're talking, you mentioned before, this is about eternal life. So if it comes down to those things, are you willing to follow the truth no matter what, right? I'm not saying you have to answer it, but I'm saying that's what you have to think about. I understand you. And, you can follow,
you're right.
Yeah, you have the comfort of okay, I can just keep doing what I know, what I'm familiar with, and I can just whatever. But you're not really gonna ever be happy because you know that this is not true.
Yeah, you're never gonna. You know too much. I always say this when people come to a point when they know too much. You think it's comfortable, but it actually isn't. You can't stay Muslim and know too much.
Hey, sorry for the quick interruption. If you're enjoying this conversation and finding it helpful, would you take just a second to check whether you're subscribed? If you're not, subscribing is one of the best ways to support Apologetic Vanguard and helps us continue bringing you carefully edited Christian apologetic, debates, and biblical discussions. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the debate.
Because anytime you're going to recite that verse or hear it about the Sabbath, for example, the Sabbath, you're going to think, oh, it's not actually true. And when you hear about all the hundreds of verses about the Torah and the Gospel, you think, but they don't actually say what we think they say. And your life, I'm telling you, you can't.
The promises of, sorry, I really, I think there is a delay, so that's why I keep interrupting you guys.
Okay. No, it's okay. Go on.
It's just the promises of eternal hell, it's so constant, and it happens a lot in the Quran. It just
the punishment of the grave. I know many. Look, we talk to ex-Muslims all the time, and that's one of the main things. Believe it or not, a lot of people may not know this, but that's one of the main things that ex-Muslims deal with. They're traumatized by the punishment of the grave. It's a real thing that emotionally scars people, and Jesus can heal you from that, and He does. But there's a big struggle for a lot of ex-Muslims, this torment of the grave, the torture of the grave. Whenever you go past a graveyard, you're scared, and it has we understand it has a huge emotional effect. Yeah. And it's not we're not trying to minimalize it at all. It's a real thing, but there can be healing for that too, right? There can be healing for that too.
Yeah, it's a book that keeps threatening you. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to throw you in hell. Every 2 seconds. Even as a believer, I used to get annoyed at this. Like, okay, you said you're going to throw them in hell 10 times. Can you tell me something? I'm a believer. I need help now.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, DOC. I actually made a joke to my friend. She's a Christian, and I told her, I dare you, like, I'm going to open a random page in the Quran, and you'll look at it, and you're going to hell in that verse, or like in that page. And yeah, it is true. You can open any chapter you want, any page you want, and someone is promised hell.
Yeah, it's fear. It's fear. But what God says in the Bible is, we haven't given you we were not given a spirit of fear, but of love,
sound mind,
power, love, and sound mind. Yeah. So that's not God, really. The one who rules with fear is Satan. So again, anytime you're going to read any of these verses, you're going to think, oh man. Yeah. So I would say, look, I think you're already out if you're not already. Or if you're going to stay in, you're going to be very uncomfortable. So you don't actually have a choice, in my opinion. If you want to continue to be sane, you don't have a choice but to leave.
It's a question that's been like asked for a long time now, and I don't know. Every time I feel like I don't know if that's a universal thing about like Muslims who turn apostates or whatever, or they convert to another religion, but every day I feel like I'm another person. Like every day comes and I'm like feeling, some days I rebuked it completely, but then I came back and I was I'm so scared, so sorry at the same time. I actually have a theological question, or like I don't know what kind of question to you guys, and like it's about like when you see the horrors of the world. So coming from a Muslim background, every time we see something bad happening in the world, I see people around me who just like, I don't know, just looking at these people and being like, these people are going to be judged by God and these people are going to suffer in hell. And I know that this is cruel because I really don't wish anyone hell. But at the same time, some people in the world or some things in the world that are happening, it just makes me think hell actually is kind of fair. So I don't know, like, if I would be comfortable with the fact that these people would do these awful things, but at the same time, because they, like I don't know if they're, that's why it makes sense for me, like, with the Islam, how, like, it works when it, punishes people or, like, bad people.
Yeah, we have this, there's a judgment in Christianity, there's heaven and hell, and God is all just. Yeah, so it's not just something in Islam. God will judge these people who have, unrepentant, people who are, turned away from God, who are doing these ungodly things, evil acts. They will be judged and their punishment will be just. So they're not like escaping punishment in Christianity or something. There's hope for them. They can hope they can have if they repent, if they really truly believe. But those who do not, there is a punishment for them, and God will deal with them justly.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with a punishment being there from God. My issue is if someone keeps threatening with hell 24/7, that's not from God. God doesn't. The motivation for me to follow God as a believer is not hell. That's my issue. So someone's punishment is not God. And
by the way, Muhammad actually, he taught that there are people that are predestined to heaven and hell. Not just that people are there because of their bad actions, but even children who haven't done any evil, babies who haven't done any evil. Muhammad said that some of them are for heaven, and some are for heaven, and some are for hell. And he rebuked Aisha. He said, well, he didn't rebuke, but he said he corrected her and said that you can't say that a child who dies is going to necessarily go to heaven. You don't know that. He said it could be the other way. It could be that Allah made this, baby or this child for the hellfire. So even we're talking about children who have done no right or no wrong, nor have done no evil. In Islam, there's this predestination that is completely unfair and unjust.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we can send you material on that as well. We can send you material on that as well.
Yeah. Actually, I've already thought about this before, the whole predestination thing, and it didn't make sense to me. Just sometimes I feel like I'm struggling with two gods, that I'm trying to choose one, like an old, and I know that this is like in both ways offensive, but I just gotta say it. Like sometimes it feels like there's an old angry God and then a loving God, and I have to choose between both logically without being like, I don't know, what's the word, like without like putting my desires or heart into it, because if I did, I'm going to choose based on like not knowledge, something other than knowledge, which just doesn't make sense to me. That's why it's like a struggle. But thank you guys so much. I know that I lost all my points once I started this, but it's like 2 a.m. now, so I think it's just I'm all powered down.
Makes sense. Now we appreciate you coming, Jane.
Yeah, we'll speak.
Yeah.
To meet you, and yeah, we're happy to talk to you. So yeah, feel free to follow up, email, and we'll try to help you with whatever we can.
Same.
We'll pray for you as well.
Thank you so much. I just want to say something to David. You're a blessing from God. Thank you so much for everything. I know that people don't give you much credit or enough credit, and I see all the jokes that go on, and I hate that. You're amazing. You have no idea. And by the way, I knew you. You're the beginning for like all of this. I watched a video for the seeking Allah, finding Jesus by Nabil Qureshi, and then I knew you, and I didn't know that you're gonna like be as like big as you turned out to be, because when I watched that, I only my main focus was Nabil, because he taught things like academically, like in a source, So, but then I started watching your videos, and you're amazing. God bless you. Whatever you're doing for the right reason, and I believe that that's enough.
Oh,
so
awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you, Avery. Thank you, Jay, and thank you, DLC. What you guys?
All right.
Take care, Jane. All right. So that was Jane. What do you guys think? DLC, your perspective. What do you think so far? Where she's at? I know you guys talk. You're an ex-Muslim. You guys talk with ex-Muslims. What do you think?
She's too smart, too knowledgeable to stay in that religion and stay sane. She's gonna leave very quickly if she hasn't left already by her heart.
Yeah.
But we're just going to pray about her coming to the Lord Jesus, because that's the aim. I don't want her to just leave and be in nothing. But I believe she will, and we pray. She's honest and she wants the truth. So when someone wants the truth, the Lord doesn't let you down.
Exactly.
Yeah. While you guys were talking about how Islam ingrains this fear of hell into you, conditions you with this fear of hell, so that even like after you leave it or something like that, it's still part of you. I was thinking like think of the flip side in Islam. If you believe it, you get to spend eternity deflowering virgins. Like, how is it not obvious that this guy just took, okay, here's your biggest fear. I'll threaten you with that if you don't believe my religion. And what are you guys absolutely obsessed with? Deflowering virgins? Then that's what the eternity would. How is it like? Right. How is it not obvious, right? What this guy's doing? But yeah, so.
True.
Exactly. It's very obvious.
All right, so we got a couple of super chats. Holy Hex says, love listening.
What we have just witnessed is a stark reminder that spiritual bondage is rarely purely intellectual. The caller, Jane, has done what 99% of apologists fear to do. She spent 8 months meticulously parsing the original texts, the histories, and the manuscript variances. Logically, she knows the Islamic framework is completely broken. Yet, as she so honestly admitted, the psychological chains of lifelong conditioning are not shattered by logic alone. The systematic conditioning of fear is the ultimate survival mechanism of any cultish framework. When a religious system is built upon the relentless, 24/7 threat of physical torture, where even passing a graveyard triggers dread, and even children are decreed as fuel for Gehenna, it instills a deep, somatic trauma. This trauma is designed to bypass the intellect entirely. It acts as an emotional tripwire, dragging the seeker back into submission the moment they attempt to follow the evidence of their own eyes. This is precisely where the contrast between worldviews becomes a matter of life and death. The God of the Quran demands submission through raw psychological terror, holding even the most devout in a perpetual state of fear. But the God of the Bible commands obedience through the perfect, sacrificial love of Christ. Scripture declares that perfect love casts out fear, because fear has to do with punishment, and the one who fears is not made perfect in love. Jane's honesty is a powerful call to action for every believer to pray for those currently trapped in the shadows of this emotional bondage. What was your takeaway from her incredible vulnerability during this stream? Share your thoughts and prayers for Jane in the comments section below. If you want to stand with us as we defend the faith and reach those searching for real freedom, hit the like button, subscribe, and join the ranks. Thank you for watching. Keep your focus sharp, stand your ground, and we will see you on the next front line with the Apologetic Vanguard.